Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Box Seat. I'm Adam McGrath and joined by Mark Olmos. Mark, 8 races to take a look at and some better conditions in Perth.
Yes, Adam, welcome to all of our viewers as well. Great to be with you. And yeah, as you said, Adam, we are expecting clearer conditions, but that track might still be a bit soft. But keep an eye out for the track conditions and the weather because it has been changing quite quickly around Perth.
Well, let's take a look at those conditions now. The Mooble Rail out 13 metres. As we said, Perth, much better weather there, but do keep an eye on the track grading as well with those improved conditions. Let's get straight into race number 1. It is over the 1200 metres, a Class 3 handicap, and there's a few chances in here, but one will definitely be keeping an eye on, Mark.
Yeah, there are a few actually, Adam. Probably Ragnar Saga, Parading, ran really well in listed races, but Mrs. Brown's Boy is the one I want to take a look at. 3 starts ago, beating A Night of Pro.
Travelled up strongly on the outside from block and tackle. Deadly Shot has joined in as well. Mrs. Brown's Boy has worked into the clear nicely. And then Santiago Gallon, Jupiter Rising down the outside. A Night of Pro hit the front. Mrs. Brown's Boy, though, is giving chase strongly on the outside. Mrs. Brown's Boy overhauling A Night of Pro. A Night of Pro. Mrs. Brown's Boy going home better.
Good performance there by Mrs. Brown's Boy on that occasion. We've seen what A Night of Pro has done since. When you look at the form lines here of this 4-year-old, when you see Show Honey, Sunset Pete, Enticing Star, they all do read really well. I think this horse is going to play a part in this race, draw nicely in barrier 5, and the better we get to a good track, the better this horse is going to go.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. Paris, Texas came out of that race, had a little freshen up since that run. It was a good effort for 5th on that occasion. This galloper mare by Hinchinbrook seems to just be running on quite nicely. Hopefully Lindsay Smith has put that polish on her to allow her to finish off races. We've also got in the race, Adam, Parading, we mentioned at the top there, comes into this first up. Last start, did race in the rack on Tour, and then that race at Bunbury as well, the listed breeders, and it was only 2.5 lengths off Key Lister. Of course, ran really well in the Magic Millions race earlier this year for the 3-year-olds, but there were a couple of efforts at Ascot there which were quite disappointing, but I think a big plus is getting back to Belmont, that long straight, a bit like Pinjarra. Will have a lot of time to wind up and hit the line.
Yeah, these two horses have to be considered because Paris Texas nominated for Kalgoorlie on the weekend scratch. I know Lindsay Smith's pretty confident that he's got her going nicely, and Parading's one that I've always had a really big opinion of. It's just done a little bit wrong on occasions, and as you mentioned, didn't perform to its best at Ascot, but I think that's just a maturity thing with this horse. I'm hoping that from the trial where it wasn't asked a lot, it found a lot of traffic, I think this horse can play a bit of a part this prep, but the one that I'm really looking forward to see returning, and I'm just hoping we see the best return, is number 3, Ragnar Saga. I'm going to put it on top here again. It's all about chance and hoping we see their maximum ability from number 1, Parading, 2, Paris Texas, and 5, Mrs. Brown's Boy.
Yeah, he is one to take on trust, but I think he's better than this field. I've got him on top as well, Ragnar Saga. From the 5, Mrs. Brown's Boy, 2, Paris Texas, and 1, Parading.
Race number 2 at Belmont Park. It's over the 1300 metres, an event for the 3-year-olds. Mark, some exposed form lines here, but a lot of newbies as well.
Yeah, there is, Adam. Last start winner, which was ultra impressive on debut, though, was a Fleeker's Girl for Ray Vincent. Great to see it just get the bob in at the line and hold on. Go back and have a look at that tough performance.
And right off the track then came Brooking Springs. Homeward bound at the cutaway. 300 left to go and Pike goes to work on the favour. Burning Pride a length and a half to 2 in front. Teacher's Pet running on. In behind them then came Disco Joe and also making ground a Flicker's Girl. And it's starting to loom as a real danger at the 100 of Flicker's Girl. And here comes on the rails Romantic Rogue with a late run. A Flicker's Girl, Romantic Rogue driving through.
It was a good performance there by Flicker's Girl, as you mentioned. Had to be tough all the way to the line. Now, the question mark is going to be, has this horse improved? Because it's going to need to against some of the better types in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the way it took the run up the inside and got there probably too quick, as you saw in the replay, and had to hold off on that occasion. Romantic Rogue, a Dick Turpin galloper with Lindsay Smith, looks pretty tough. Will probably win a race, but it was a really nice effort. We saw Son of a Coat in that replay as well. But Adam, we were speaking about this one off air. Miracle Man, blinkers go on. This first starter, Son of Viscount, is still a colt. Adam Durant trains, and William Pike rides. It just reeks of a setup after a really nice trial.
Yeah, you watched the first trial and the horse didn't look to do much. Blinkers go on, and Bonnie Policia was just holding on for dear life at that final stage, as this horse had a lot left underneath it. You now see this name back in training, Adam Durant. You see William Pike takes this horse on instead of the Cerise and White, drawn nicely in barrier 4. Don't be surprised if this horse comes out and blows them away.
Adam, on top for you though?
Number 3, Dazzling Poet, from 9, Thunderstruck, 2, A Fleeker's Girl, and 5, Miracle Man.
I've got the 9 on top here, Thunderstruck. Hopefully with the senior rider going on, can switch this daughter of Schwazier on from the 2, A Fleeker's Girl, 1, The Escort, and 5, Miracle Man.
Race number 3 at Belmont Park. It is a Class 1 handicap over the 1,000 metres, and Mark, some very different form lines coming into this.
Yes, Adam. We'll go back to a last start winner in maiden company, though. The Anaesthetist.
Getting home just behind those. Then came Sugar Bell back in the field, Jesse Quick, and towards the tail is Wakaha Kid. The Anaesthetist had hit the front with Outstretch coming, and so's Lighthouse Rock, and on the outside Sovereignty Lady. It's the Anaesthetist in front from Sovereignty Lady. Then came Lighthouse Rock, the Anaesthetist on the outside, Sovereignty Lady, but the big fellow, the Anaesthetist. The Anaesthetist
Was his first victory, as you mentioned, but this horse has been really consistent. 7 starts now for the 1 victory and 5 placings, and I don't think this field's much stronger than a maiden. There's probably one that we know shown ability at time, but to win a little bit array there was Count Tomozov, but the others, there's not much to speak about. So I think just knowing what you're going to get with this horse, you have to respect it, and you know that's probably going to be running in the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big tick there as well to it winning in the soft conditions. Last start, Vital Assets in this race could run a nice effort. Play for Pleasure now, Son of Foreplay. We saw Take It Like a Man, of course, winning the soft last week. That race is later on in the program. I think it will handle the conditions if we get them on Wednesday again. Adam, Mongolian Warlord I've got on top. I thought showed enough ability in its first preparation, albeit at Albany, but that recent trial was nice. Looks to have come on well. Give it a real chance. The apprentice takes off 3 kilos as well.
We've seen Steve Wolf do that before, hasn't he? It doesn't matter if it's the Albany form or not. He brings them to town and he thinks they can run a nice race. The trial was good. 3 kilos off the back as well. I think you have to respect these type of runners, but I'll go with our replay horse at number 2, the Anaesthetist. From number 5, Count Tomozov. A big watch on this horse. 3, Vital Asset, and 7, Nobo.
I'll go with number 6 on top, Mongolian Warlord. From the 1, Play for Pleasure, 2, the Anaesthetist, and 3, Vital Asset.
Race number 4 at Belmont Park. It's over the 1,000 metres as well. And Mark, a horse that we were hoping to see improve showed that last start, and we'll be hoping can go on with it again.
Thankfully, Invincible Warrior, Adam, yes, we speak. Or Jason Brown keeps the ride here. Let's have a look at it being beaten by a very smart one in Gonna Go.
Tiger Red joined by Invincible Warrior. They've come together, 2 in front. Gonna Go switching back towards the cutaway. And then a gap of about 3 lengths. Aces Wish followed then by Allura May and Jazari. But Gonna Go has rushed through at the 200 mark and gone to a clear lead from Invincible Warrior. Supposition from the back of the field making good headway outside Aces Wish. But Gonna Go draws away and it's no danger for Gonna Go. Gonna Go really...
Well, we talked about it going into the preview of this race that we just hoped that Invincible Warrior was going to show those initial form lines. Now, it was a really good performance. It was ridden positive by Jason Brown out in front there and held on for second in a nice performance, beaten 3 lengths by Gonna Go, which has come out and won again on a Saturday since. So those form lines are really holding up. I think the key for this galloper is the sting out of the ground. Clearly it has some joint issues. We know it jars up and it certainly does feel its legs at times. So a soft track is going to suit this horse. I think now he can go on with it and be right in this race.
Yeah, number 1 there, Diablery. Kate Whitten takes off 3 kilos here. Bruce Watkins trains. Big drop in class here from 72 plus grade to this race. I think it'll be right in the mix here with 57 on its back.
Been given a nice little fresh up. Kate Whitten takes the ride. I think they'll be able to ride this horse quite comfortably and just attack the line strongly. I still think it's the one to beat.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. We've also got in the race, just quickly we'll touch on Zenit. Has been in some really good form. Won 3 starts ago, then 2 starts ago. And was a nice effort in Saturday grade. Comes back down to Wednesday grade. Keith Frost has this galloper going really well.
Yeah, it was, as you said, been in really good form with those 2 wins and then was only beaten a length by Sharia Moore. Those form lines have held up pretty reasonable as well. With the 1.5 kilo claim, goes around 54, be out in front and saying catch me if you can, but I'll go with the number 1 horse, as you said, Diablery, from number 6, Invincible Warrior, 4, Zenite, and 5, Spiritual Eyes.
I'll go with the 6 on top here, Invincible Warrior, from number 1, Diablery, 4, which is Zenite, and number 2, Gold Shimmer.